Balikan natin ang ating mga karambulista at ang programang Karambola sa DWIZ.
Karambola.
Nagbabalik ang Karambola, kasama pa rin sa impilan, Jonathan De La Cruz, Joel Lacsamana. Ako po si Trixie Cruz Angeles. Hatiin muna po natin ang happy na yung audience. Happy birthday kay Miss Alisa Quevedo. Siya ay bagong communications assistant ng DWIZ.
Ay, bata pa to kung gano'n.
Yes. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Alisa Quevedo.
Hi, Alisa. Maligayang kaarawan.
Tapos, nakikiramay po kami sa pamilya ni Totet de Jesus, si Ruben de Jesus. He's an artist, he's a visual artist. He did a lot of illustrations for children's books sa Anvil and Adarna, I think. Adarna. So mostly, he was also a professor at the UP College of Fine Arts.
Saka siyempre tayo nakikiramay sa pamilya Lanchon. Pagpanaw ni Justice Jane Lanchon.
Ayun, nakikiramay po kami sa mga pamilya sa makalangit nawa. Alright, ito na iniintay ninyo. Nakakaloka kayo, ha?
Mainit ang sa media at sa social media, both print at sa mga bali-balita ngayon.
Okay.
Ito yung, sa iba naman sinasabi, dahil, ano ba nangyari? Unahin natin kay dating Presidente Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo.
Bigla.
Ano ba nangyari?
House
Was
move.
not, hindi yun nakita. Alam niyo ba, tinignan namin how it happened din kay GMA. Kasi medyo namangha talaga ako. Dahil lumabas yung balita the other day ng alas 10 ng gabi. Nung the mainstream media finally got a hold of the news. So tinignan ko yung session. Apparently si Congressman Arroyo, GMA, was in session, pero alam niyo yung towards the end, nag-uuwian na yung iba. Anyway, na-establish na yung quorum. So maagang umuuwi. So nagka-clean up na lang yung mga refer to committee, refer to mga usual business that is left towards the tail end para hindi yung there's time for the congressmen, yung mga if there are any speeches or interpellations that must be made earlier on. Biglang nag-motion. Sino ba yung nag-file ng motion sa ano yun anyway, may nag-motion to appoint si Congressman Dong last name ko, Gonzales. Of the 3rd District of Pampanga as senior deputy na and declaring the position vacant. Parang gano'n. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng mag-appoint kung hindi siya vacant So kaaalis lang ni Congressman Arroyo nung time na yon. Ang bilis ng pangyayari. After that, nag-vote majority, it was carried. Tapos they may motion to appoint Congressman Arroyo as Deputy Speaker. Ngayon, 10 po yung Deputy Speakers ng House. So, nadagdag na lang siya doon, tapos ginawang senior si Kong Dong. Now, as far as we know, si Congressman Dong and Congressman GMA are very good friends. Yeah. That, in fact, I understand that si GMA mentored Congressman Gonzales early on, and they work well together. So medyo it was surprising. And then the announcement was made nga na the purpose was to unburden si Kong GMA.
Unburden, ibig sabihin, nabibigatan ka kaya bahagyang tatanggalin ng bigat sa'yo. Yung pasan mo, nabigat.
Well, she's never complained, and there's never been any reports that she has fallen behind in any of her work. Now, before somebody, bago may magmagaling dyan, marami na kasi ako nabasang comments dun sa sa social media, not the current one, na sinasabi wala naman yung position ng senior deputy. No, that's not true.
Ceremonial lang yan?
No.
Okay.
GMA took it seriously. Okay. So in the absence of the speaker, he will preside and so on. And you know that GMA doesn't take these things lightly. No. So she has always, and there's been never any complaints about that. Now, back to last year. Elections, sino ba ang nag-hammer out ng unity team? So, we cannot deny the participation of GMA in bringing together the Vice President and the President to run as the unity team.
Si VP Inday at si PBBM.
For whatever. The understanding was, although it's never, I don't know if it's been published, the understanding was that GMA would become Speaker of the House. So when the announcement had been made that that the President, what do you call that, endorsed ba? His cousin, late Congressman Martin Romualdez, Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, people were a little surprised. And of course, he handily won. Siyempre, majority. And he is also, like Congressman GMA, a member of Lakas. Tama, di ba? Lakas CMD.
They are stalwarts.
Of which, the Vice President also had sworn in earlier on as a member. Of course, we know that she was recruited by Congressman GMA. So, very recently, yun na nga. So, nung natanggal si Congressman GMA from her position, her response, her first statement was a very terse. It's a prerogative of the House.
Ano ba terse?
Terse. Short, pithy.
Maikli. Wala nang palamuti pa. Ito na.
So, kapansin-pansin yun because GMA is usually diplomatic. She will explain. She will say thank you to so-and-so. This happened later, pero in the initial stages, alam na natin, may this must have stung. This must have hurt. This was not an ordinary event. Kumbaga, nobody becomes a non-senior deputy speaker overnight without any, and nobody had even been talking about it. Basta out of the blue ito.
Well, nobody is unburdened without being first told na you will be unburdened. Walang ganon.
So, we were waiting kasi may magka-clarify that eventually may magka-clarify dyan or may maglalabas na ito yung totoong reason kung bakit. So ang unang nag-report was politiko saying na the congressman who engineered her quote-unquote demotion was because she they said that she was trying to oust the speaker and that she wanted to, kumbaga siningil niya, gusto niyang siya yung umupo. In addition to which, pero yun, tingin ko hanash na yun yung sinasabi na mahalaga yung position bilang speaker kasi kung sakasakaling may impeachment, ang laki ng say mo doon. Pero tingin ko overreach na yun. Doon sa opinion lang, but you can think whatever. So doon sa seeing that the news was coming out, lumalabas na, nagkakaroon na ng speculation, si Congressman GMA came out to the statement. And in this statement, she was back to her usual diplomatic self. She showed support for the president, for the speaker. She indicated that the reason that napaghinalaan siya was because she took some congressmen to South Korea. And it isn't clear what, based on her statement, kung anong ginawa doon. Probably it was a vacation, probably a study tour, because she had been traveling. She went to China with some students to show them around and keep in touch again with some of the officials who were very active during her presidency. So, kumbaga, she was conducting diplomatic relations. This is a good time to do it considering the possibility of conflict. Okay. So, she also indicated that she took the bull by the horn. Sinabi niya talaga na, when I was president, I did promise, I could not fulfill my promise not to run for my own term as president because at the time I was handling very huge responsibilities such as addressing the issues of terrorism, etc. And she could not she could not comply. But now, perspective, now I am a congressman. I am devoted to my duties. I respect the speaker, and this is where she will stay. She's not, while she used to be interested in the position of speaker, she understands that the confidence of the president rests in Speaker Romualdez and that he has shown exemplary leadership, etc. She's not interested in it. And no matter what happens, even if it is offered, even if she's voted in, she will not accept the position.
Okay.
She will not serve
Diplomatic. Well, that in itself is a big story na. And then, biglang the early hours of this morning, our Vice President has resigned. Issued a statement resigning from the Lakas CMD party.
Yes, teka, let me just
anong ibig sabihin?
call it up for me.
She most probably will go back to her party, which is
Hukbong. So in her statement, she announced her irrevocable resignation as Lakas CMD
may mga
member.
sinabi pa siya, but hindi wala sa...
She made sure that she showed her gratitude to the party. She made sure to reiterate her commitment to the president. Importante yan eh. Sabi niya, trust that my word, my commitment will be immutable. Immutable means unchangeable. She acknowledged the mandate given to her by the Filipino people and then adds, and this cannot be poisoned by political toxicity or undermined by execrable political power play. I call on all leaders to focus on the work that must be done and leave a legacy of a strong and stable homeland. The imagery is not accidental. Every single word in this statement, because it's very short, has meaning, and there is a message that she intends to convey. So ang pinakakapitan dito is yung terms, this cannot be poisoned by political toxicity or undermined by execrable political power play. Which means she acknowledges that the recent events, without actually saying
GMA,
are driven by these things. It was a political power play. It is toxic. So she will not be part of that. That's basically what she's saying.
And even yung salitang execrable, sintabi sa mga kumakain, ginagamit lang yan sa mga panahon na hindi dapat ginagamit pag kumakain. So medyo matindi ang kanyang sinabi.
So, yun yung, that's the kasi ang tinitignan natin dito is, nung lumabas yun when GMA was ousted from her position as senior deputy speaker, lumalabas na yung angas. And we knew based on what we were seeing already, yung mga lumalabas na yung mga comments, not social media, we're also looking at trad media and how this was going to be put forward. Si GMA, seeing that the language was already either going to attack her and then indicate political ambition, power play, etc., this would strongly affect her influence. Inunahan niya. What she did was she de-escalated.
Nag-de-escalate siya.
Para hindi magka-snowballing effect both against her and possibly against the party. Kasi, pangit naman nun, stalwart silang dalawa ni Speaker Romualdez. She cannot be, or how do you call this? Hindi pwedeng magmukhang kasama siya dun sa pag-taint ng partido.
Pero yung statement ni VP Inday naman, well, it's not a de-escalating type of statement. It's a statement of fact na we know what's going on. Ano nangyayari. I stand by my...
I stay by the president, but I will not be in the party.
Ganon.
Anyway, hindi naman member ng party ang presidente.
Hindi na.
So, fortunately for that. Insights was Jonathan, tahimik nyo.
Mukhang tahimik mo, pero ayun na nga, this is roiling na in the political scenario nangyayari sa Pilipinas.
Doon sa mga backroom talks. In the backroom talks, may mga nagsasabi that there were certain congressmen who wanted to push talaga for a change of leadership.
In the House.
Yes. So, existent yun. hindi yan, how do you call this, kapraningan, kumbaga. There really were agitations for a change of leadership. Some were saying, some were complaining about the speaker himself, and then there are other issues such as the performance of the House has been exemplary in passing the necessary bills of the president, but there are other things that were considered glaring in its omissions. I think nasama dyan yung smuggling issues. So dun sa So, but it was not GMA herself. Yun yung lumalabas sa mga backroom talks ngayon. She wasn't the one. Mayroong nagmagaling.
Hindi siya nagmamachination.
Hindi siya.
May mga tao.
May mga nagmamagaling. They were seeing, may pagkakataon na.
Parang binubuyo ba ng buyo?
Hindi naman si GMA. But lumabas yung balita. So, di ba yung sinasabi natin dito, yung salita lang may effect yan eh. Kahit wala pang gumagalaw, magsalita ka. Like talk of war, talk of change of leadership. Syempre, alam nga naman, hindi po protektahan ng leadership ang sarili nila. And so this was the reaction to that perceived threat. Now, ang ko dito is kasi it was fast, it was planned, and diba, it was kept on the tail end of the session day. So, one, hindi to accident. This was planned, this was coming in several days. And two, they considered the threat as serious. Kasi alam naman nila na pag tinanggal nila si GMA, may consequences yan.
May consequences yan.
Merong yan. Plus, the perception of GMA is that she's a strong ally but a dangerous enemy. So, woman power, no?
Strong ally, dangerous enemy.
Yeah. When I grow up, I want to be like that. Diba? Yeah, can you imagine being thought of as that? You don't turn your back on on somebody like that. So, considering her expertise, her ability to maneuver in politics, the image alone, the fact that she always lands on her feet, means she knows what to say at the right time, what to do at the right time. So merong nagpuelsa dito. But the two things that are our takeaways here is that number one, the threat is serious, and the vice president acknowledged its existence. There's a power play. She will not be part of that power play or the political toxicity accompanying it. Meaning, she's still with the president, solid with the president. But she's also her own person. So,
walang quote kay speaker so far,
he should be above these things.
Yes.
Speaker.
It is the prerogative of the House. Sinabi na
acknowledge ni GMA. Kaya nga, alam ko na kahit paano, she left the door open. Kahit, alam ko yung first statement niya, it's the prerogative of the House. Mataray yan eh. And it showed that it stung.
Siyempre, nabigla siya doon.
Yun ang gusto nila eh. Parang ganun eh. And it was, kumbaga, a statement na, okay you this is the line. You crossed it, okay, alam ko na. The explanation made sure na hindi na nag-stand yung first statement niya. De-escalate. I'm with the president, I support the House leadership. I am but a congressman. I am no longer president. And it's very clear dun sa wording ng kanyang statement is that she has no ambitions. There is no power play here. I am not the author of that power play. So yun yung statement na gusto niya iparating. On the other hand, si Inday follows that up by saying, acknowledge may power play, acknowledge the toxicity, I will not be part of that. But because she resigned from Lakas CMD, she also acknowledges that this is part of that political toxicity, part of that power play. So, in other way, buhay ang unity team in the sense that the president and the vice president are still there. They still, they work together. There's no danger na mabubuwag yung partnership ng dalawa. But there are other moving parts here. So, I'm excited to see what happens next. Yan. Yan
walang quote ang speaker, definitely walang quote ang president.
Ay, hindi makikialam.
Hindi makikialam yun.
Hindi makikialam yan. In the first place, while he's the chairman of the Partido Federal, he has not been actively working towards a situation where he gets all of the others join the party.
Nga eh.
He is leaving this party operations to
that's the smart.
Wala siyang ganun.
The de facto party of the president is Lakas. Because they're the ones who carry out the orders. Well, not orders. Sila yung nag-bolster ng leadership niya. The support in Congress is primarily, for the president. Tignan niyo yung House, 31 priority bills from the president's zona. 24 have been passed in the House. The Senate, may statement sila, hopes that by the end of this Congress, makapasa sila ng 5.
There is a ruling coalition kasi Lakas, of course, PDP Laban, NP, NUP, NPC, and of course the party list coalition. Meron silang ganun. So that is the ruling coalition right now in the House. So, ano yan? And it has, these things have implications beyond the House.
Beyond the House.
Yes.
With
in the national
VP,
scenario.
The VP coming out with that kind of a statement.
Yes.
And so, ano yan? But yung mga nanunulsol, tigil-tigilan nyo na panunulsol ninyo kasi sinabi na ni Inday, may Vice President, na hindi nyo ako pwedeng ganunin. Hindi ako kasama dyan sa workout na ganyan. So, if you want some other things to do it yourself. Huwag nyo akong sama.
Yeah.
Itong unraveling na to, yung
so
baghag nung himulmul, hindi ba parang napakaaga? 1 taon pa lang.
Ano yan
Next question, may 2028 na nandun. Parang aga yata.
Hindi naman. It happens.
Nangyayari yan.
Kasi, unfortunately, hindi, of course, it's not as welcome in a development as we had wanted. Ang kagalingan lang yan is that the president and the vice president were elected as one team.
Yun.
Kung nagkataon na magkahiwalayan, ay talagang magiging mas maano ang ingay ng mas maano ang ingay sa labas at loob at ng bansa. Ganun yan.
So, di ba?
Mabuti that these things have but this is something that needs to be looked into more seriously.
Yep.
Ano yan?
Saka ang gusto kong makita yung driving forces. So bakit what pushed the congressman to
to make that move right there and then. Well, isa kaninang narration mo so ostensibly nagulat din si GMA nung siguro pagsakay na sa kotse.
Ganito yun, if she knew it was going to happen, she wouldn't have been there at all. Either that or knowing her, if she had advanced knowledge, kinausap na niya yung mga yan. She would have been able to, kahit paano may galaw siya. So it would have been either to head it off or to not be present.
Siguro yun lang ang kagulat-gulat na gumalaw sila at this particular point in time, or in that manner, in that, parang may sense of urgency bigla. Would you agree? Parang may, yung to say, tapos, even that hastily drafted statement, we want to unburden her. That is so lame.
It's lame. Correct. That's the word. Lame.
Unburden
Lame.
her?
Couldn't come up with something less humiliating. Ano ba? Kasi parang sinasabi nila na na hindi niya kaya.
Tinatanggal naman siya ng bigat at nahihirapan siya.
And they made the decision for her. It didn't come from her. So talagang kitang-kita na this was not a friendly gesture. It was intended to humiliate her. And her first reaction showed that. The second reaction means that the consummate politician that she is, umiral yung yung sensibilities niya. That is why she's still surviving in politics to this day. Yeah. This is bukod sa it's in her genetic material, I think this is also a talent. And something that Inday Sara is learning. Magbabalik ang Karambola. Ang oras natin, 9:34 ng umaga.
Balikan natin ang ating mga karambulista at ang programa Karambola sa DWIZ.
Nagbabalik ang Karambola, kasama pa rin sa impilan, Conrad. Conrad Manalo on the golf course.
Underground ka na, underground dyan. Kasalukuyang
Conrad
ko natutok-tok ngayon.
Kasalukuyang nangongolekta ng double, triple bogey.
Jonathan de la Cruz.
Palagi ko, hirap na hirap ngayon yan.
Kasalukuyang nagdadasal na lang para sa raffle.
Joel Laksamana.
Sana manalo ko. Kasi yari na
Si
siya.
Vic Cruz Angeles.
Yari na siya na triple bogey na siya dyan.
Ay, nako.
Yun ang
But let's see.
sense of urgency ngayon niya, manalo sa raffle.
Pero, okay naman na, at least si Vice President came out with that kind of a statement.
Oh, and you see the Vice President is growing into yung political maturity niya. Nagde-develop, nagkakaroon ng depth, nagkakaroon ng... She's still Inday Sara, but but expanding yung kanyang experience and wisdom. Nice. I like the way it's turning out.
Of course, the initial battleground there now will be the party itself, meaning lakas. What are they going to do about it? Anong mangyayari dyan? At ano yan? Because, of course, nandiyan pa rin yung mga iba. Kaya sina Jody B, Speaker de Venecia, he remains a chairperson. I don't know whether GMA remains a member of Lakas kasi you remember she got out of the party and joined PDP laban towards some time back. So
speaking of, I think this is the time for PDP laban to rise to the occasion. Develop your party, develop you don't have to be the opposition kasi clearly they support the president and the vice president. But you can't leave it in the hands of
well,
some of the people that you've left it to.
No, actually they have more or less reorganized themselves. Ang presidente nila Dong Gonzales, the senior deputy speaker, is a senior member of, I think he's the treasurer of PDP Laban, and Congressman Alvarez.
Yes,
is now the president.
The vice chairman. Chairman. The vice chairman is former DOE Sec Cusi.
So nandyan sila. And I think they have issued certain statements regarding that, etc. So ang ano ngayon will be lakas. How is it going to work? How is the party going to work now? After this, di ba? Kasi sila yung nagkaroon ng break within that party.
Talaga?
So, we'll have to find out.
Ay, yung lakas.
Lakas, yeah.
Oo, lakas talaga. How are they going to...
I think the Vice President is the chairman of Lakas.
Was.
Hindi, well, up to the time na nag-tender siya ng resignation. So,
until this morning.
So, we'll have to find out ano mangyayari ngayon dyan sa Lakas party, because for a long time talagang yan ang bumuo ng katakot-takot yan, of course, will be GMA and Martin. They were the two people
silang dalawa,
na
diba?
Talagang who resuscitated
and then drove it up, diba?
Lakas back into life.
Yeah.
Diba? Yan ang naging problema dyan. So we'll have to find out.
Masaya
okay, di abangan natin sa mga
susunod na in the meantime.
I think that kasi with an existing dynamic, with two strong political parties, at least two, di ba? Meron pang iba like teka, na out of the doldrums na ba yung mga NPC and all that?
No. They are very strong parties.
Yun, see?
The ruling coalition is a strong coalition.
I
very
think
strong.
that the individual parties should propel. For instance, kung ang feeling natin, alam natin, that they're how do you call this, may gaps or lagging yung ibang major workers sa gobyerno, i.e. certain cabinet secretaries, dapat ang tumutulak sa kanila, the political parties should help should help the national conversation along. Identify the areas where we can do better. Hindi lang parang ang nangyayari, you're leaving it all up to the president, leaving it all up to the and it does him a disservice. He's doing so much na nga. Ang masaya nga kay Presidente Marcos is he doesn't have to head a party. He is the de facto party is Lakas. Partido Federal, he has not been active in Partido Federal. He can be just the president. So dapat yung mga
he's the president of the ruling coalition. That's right.
Yes.
Kasi malalakas naman yan
Exactly. On their own, malalakas.
Aside from Lakas, merong NUP, may NPC, may Nationalista Party.
Yes.
Nationalista Party.
Of course, there are local parties like yung Hugpong. They have members who are in government. And then may mga iba pa na who are also active locally. Local parties are
Hugpong yung local, yung Davao-based
yung party ni VP. Yeah.
Diba
And one of their senior officials is a deputy speaker. Deputy Speaker Sid Ungab.
Okay.
Hugpong yan. He's a Hugpong senior official.
So do you think the Vice President will organize Hugpong now and make it a national party?
I don't think she's interested in that at this point.
No.
Okay.
Busy siya ngayon, di ba?
She just said that there are a lot of things that need to be done.
Katutok siya sa Department of Education at saka sa chair siya. Ano ba siya? Co-chair? O ano ba ayos na ba natin? Co-chair ng LCA. NTF-LCA. So dito pa lang talaga nakatutok yung niya, focus niya.
So marami yan. DepEd lang Ang dami na niyang problema dyan sa DepEd. Kailangan ayusin niya. So, marami.
Oh, I'm happy there's something to watch. No, because you see them, for instance, it's always good to see the Vice President rise to the occasion. It's good to see you see master politicians at work like GMA maneuvering around this and still turning it into something like a victory for herself. Kasi na-de-escalate niya, nagawa niya but at the same time, strong support coming from the Vice President for Congressman GMA. I'm thinking she's landing on her feet. Might not be over yet, but she's still kumbaga hindi siya nabakbak.
Hindi.
Which could have been the outcome had she not initiated the de-escalation.
Which is kasi naman yung how do you call it? Yung attack or kumbaga sa boxing to, parang may style sa boxing, parang biniblitz mo yung kalaban, yung sinunod-sunod mo, jab, straight, hook, gano'n. Ito, para bang napilitan jumab, napilitan umi-straight, hindi mo alam, parang dumaplis. Yung problema niya, pag dinaplisan mo ang kalaban na makakabalik yan. May yung sabi niyo, may expect consequence ka ganyan. So that's the problem sa mga ganyang klaseng move na hindi mo hindi mo alam kung why now, bakit yung sense of urgency but hindi couple of months from now or a year from now, but when things are a little bit more mas planado mo, mas may bala ka, mas may gravitas yung attack mo. So ito, while mukhang nagulat si GMA, nagulat siguro yung gulat niya is more asar at inis. Sige, tingnan natin. Dinesicalate niya. So, she's landed on her feet. Ika nga. Para bang intended, effective not
kailangan
intended.
yata mag-focus ng lakas.
Focus kayo.
Focus right now.
Right now. See, they should be in focus.
Interesting naman natin yan.
I want to be a fly on the wall there.
You and Eric Matthew would like pakinggan.
Diba? Saya. But ako, for me, this is instructive para sa ating mga watchers. This is, well, one, aside from seeing GMA at work, this is how parties operate. And we're always pushing for the party system to be stronger. Para hindi may stability kasing dala ng mga partido eh. Number one, nakikita nyo yung mga agenda. Yung especially when it comes to the legislature, nakikita nyo kung ano yung mga priorities. Ano yung itutulak nila, ano yung kailangan maitatag para sa bansa. At the same time, predictable, like sino ba ang sino yung sinusuportahan nila, yung mga policies, tsaka yung, how do you call this, Boss Jonat, parang yung outlook. Diba? Merong mindset yung mga partido. So, it gives you some kind of stability. Kasi pag nakikita mo, okay, pag itong partido ang in place, these are the potential policies. Ito yung pupuntahan. Ito yung nila. So, for example, kung yung partido mo woke, expect a lot of legislature that will support all that wokeism. This is just an extreme example. Ang para sa akin, one of the best examples of a party man is si Juan Flavier before when he was in the Senate. He was always very stringent para sa kanya, strictly adhering to the party stance. And maganda yung lumalakas yung partido kasi kung nag-aambisyon tayo na babalik tayo sa parliamentary, it's really the parties that will that balance things out. Yung yung mga the how do you call this? Yung self-limiting effect na ginagawa, yung disciplining effect internally ng parliamentary system is done by the parties themselves. So, dapat pinapalakas natin yung mga partido dito. So, at dapat ini-encourage natin na ganun nga ang galaw ng ating mga politicians. Also, all of this jumping between parties. Wala Ang nangyayari lang, nagkakaroon ng isang mega party na, and there's no balance. There's no check and balance. Effectively removes an opposition.
Nawala sa dictionary, aggregation.
Samahan.
Partido.
I mean, I don't mind coalitions. You'll need one talaga when there's no strong party system. But effectively, ang nangyayari para sa akin, it's a mega party and hindi na i-encourage yung opposition, yung criticism, yung mga constructive
may opposition naman tayo
Really?
Oo, yung yung kasalukuyang nalulungkot dahil sa mga nangyari last May. At ngayon ay hope springs eternal dahil nakita nila yung nangyayari sa Thailand at sa Turkey na maaari pa lang ang opposition ay lumakas uli. At ang ruling party o coalition o yung ay mag-fall from power or fall from grace. Although siyempre wishful thinking po yan, magtrabaho muna po kayo.
At least with this thing, the parties are intact in the ruling coalition.
Hindi nagkakaano.
Hindi sila, And then it's also a credit to the president. He did not in effect signal anything na, oy kayo, pumunta kayong lahat dito sa partido nito Wala siyang
ganon.
So he's respecting the ruling coalition system.
He doesn't look that type of politician naman,
Hindi siya ganon. Hindi siya ganon. Otherwise, lahat yan naging party man in the presence of the president. But he is not actively, working on that.
Ito, sabi daw ni Senator Ping Lacson, it was a failed coup.
Okay, tamo yun.
The language,
Failed coup.
Nakakita. Very nuanced kasi yung talk about this. Para sa akin, sige, sabihin na natin na gano'n.
De-escalation statement na yan. At itong ex-cramol ni, kasi, sila, they failed.
Para sa akin, sige, sabihin na natin na it was, without admitting. Let's say, without admitting that it
sinabi ni
actually
Ping yun?
was. Oh,
Sinabi niya? There is a statement
it
coming
was
from him.
he characterized it as a field coup. So, para sa akin, sige, let's say na, ano yan, for me, I still see it's all upside eh. Number one, nag-emerge si Inday. She's coming into her own. Umalis siya sa lakas eh. The elephant in the room is that there is something drove this to happen. Hindi ko lang alam pa, hindi ko pa napipinpoint what exactly drove this to
Senator Lacson, failed ko nga daw eh.
No, but you'll still, if you're benefiting from the current situation, like, di ba, wala naman, wala lang kay GMA, the speakership? And I doubt if that you would launch something this ambitious
to do an overt,
just to sit as there something triggered this.
But she had that already before, right?
Yeah. Ang dyan is the move of in other words, if it is a failed coup, sabi siguro ni Inday, I'm not part of that. I'm getting out of this thing. Hindi ako interesado sa ganun.
But she also resigned from the party.
From the party.
That disciplined the attempted.
Ang niyan is that if what Senator Lacson is saying is if that is his view and he's getting information on his own na ganyan yan, ang sinasabi niya ngayon is that in the case of the Vice President, hindi ako kasama dyan. If ever. If that is true.
In the failed coup.
Parang yun sinasabi niya.
Yeah, well, definitely there's that. But at the same time, so that's the language, but at the same time, she resigned from the party that disciplined the alleged
she
coup, how do you call this? Alleged or rebels. Diba? So that for me, that also says something.
Kasi
she's not
if you're talking about lakas now becomes really Martin's party in effect.
Yeah.
So he is that is his party now because the Vice President is supposed to be the highest ranking elected official. Given usually the honors of leading a party, resigned. Then, if it is true that President GMA has not really returned to lakas formally, then that is really now Martin's party, the Speaker's party, in effect.
Yeah.
Parang ganyan yan. So, let's see how lakas will work it out from there. Kasi marami rin doon, because they were partners in building up lakas, are part of the GMA group. So, yan. Tignan natin how things will work out.
I think things are still happening. May mangyayari pa. I'm expecting things to happen.
A lot are happening.
A lot are happening. But for me, it's still all good, Kasi nga, nakikita mo yung development ni Vice, ni Inday.
Hindi kasi yung aking it's premature to say premature move na nangyaring yan. Plus tong statement ni Senator Lacson is para bang they were, what's the term? They were the people who engineered this move. They didn't see any ghosts in the closet. They were real. May nakita sila.
May nakita.
At kaya sila gumalaw.
Yeah,
may nakita
imposibleng walang trigger Imposible. Gagalaw ka ba ng ganyan?
Hindi sila basta praning.
And I don't think it was ambition, I don't think that was that. I just can't pinpoint what it is. Kasi masyadong malaking at stake, ambition lang. Ang daming ibang paraan There's the sip-sip method. There's something like this. Grabe you would have to think 10 million times before you start something like this.
Remember, hindi ito gaya nung, just for sake of mga scenario, remember nung si Cayetano at si Lord Velasco, hindi ganito to yung overt talaga na nagdanasa para sa posisyon na gano'n. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking through my head. I defer to you, Kung John, what's going on.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Oh, but
There will be a lot of things that will probably...
I think we really, all of us have to go out and start talking to that. Ano bang chismax ninyo dyan?
But definitely, something happened along the way.
Iyan, ano kaya yung trigger?
Ngayon, yun ang and then,
at kung lalabas ba talaga?
And his brother now trying to find out how things will turn out from here.
Oo.
Kasi, siyempre, a lot of moving parts are moving.
There's the moving. Moving.
In the meantime, ang mga Pilipino ay ano pa rin, di ba? May mga kinaharap pa tayong problema pa rin.
Siyempre.
Diba? Sa pagtatapos ko, I just want to read this. 7 out of 10 Filipinos, while they've cut back, nagtitipid sila sa spending nila in the next 12 months, pero marami pa rin yung outlook nila positive at willing to invest pa rin sila at mag-ipon.
Maraming ganon.
Ayon sa Synergy U Government Research, 51% of Filipinos just have enough to meet their financial needs. Kasama siguro ko dyan. While 36% more or more than a third ay nahihirapan pa rin na yung ibang harapin yung mga financial needs nila sa araw-araw based sa kanilang kinikita sa buwan-buwan. So, ang sinasabi, well, nag-improve na to mula January of this year. Dati 38% lang So, ngayon 51% na. So, but Filipinos, nagbabantay sila doon sa increase ng prices, at nagkukup sila sa pag-reduce sa gastusin nila, di ba? Yung but meron pa rin daw nagsisave at umaasam na sa kinabukasan, yung home upgrade, renovation, tech gadgets, travel, real estate, property, motorcycle. Mukhang hindi ako kasali doon. hindi ko muna inaasam yun.
Yun ang na resiliency.
Oo. But meron daw gano'n na 63% ang nag-aabang nun in the next 6 months. So, nag-hope pa rin ang Pinoy, di ba, na Pilipino, na mag-improve ang ating kalagayan sa mga
susunod na mga araw.
Oo. Pero, definitely, hindi muna sila naglalabas ng pera ngayon. Yung, ng gaya ng dati.
Holding.
Oo, holding.
They're in a holding situation.
I don't know how you read the survey, but it's both optimistic at yung nakabantay din.
Well, on that note.
On that note. Pero yun, disquieting kasi yung mga pangyayari ito nakaraan. Lahat tayo mag-aabang.
Let the weekend be a...
Meanwhile,
hindi siya time for reflection. So ako dyan, it's not gonna be a time for reflection. They're going to be moves.
Moving.
Yep. Lalong-lalo na yung mga pumuntang South Korea. Maraming salamat. Okay, by the way, I just like to emphasize kasi over the between the before GMA statement came out, people were saying kasi pumunta yan ng China kaya siya tinanggal. Newsflash, guys, it's not about China. Maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay sa Karambola nitong araw na ito. Tabayan ang susunod na programang Ronda Pilipinas with Sir Dennis Antenor Jr. On behalf of Jonathan De La Cruz, Joel Laksamana, we'll see you on... Ay, wala ako sa Monday. I'll see you soon. Si Radel, see you on Monday. Ako po si Trixie Cruz Angeles.
Karambola. Sumainyo ang programang Karambola sa DWIZ. Hanggang sa muli, tayo'y magbabalik upang ihatid ang pagtalakay sa iba't ibang mga issue. Dito pa rin sa programang Karambola sa DWIZ.